Thank you so much for tuning in to Eye on the Community. Of course, I'm your host, Sean Anthony. Up next, joining me is the founder of Black Girl Rising, Miss Fran Frasier. Miss Fran, welcome to Eye on the Community. How art thou?
I'm doing well, Sean. Thank you.
Good to have you on here. Before we get started into the bulk of the interview, I'm very curious. What was the genesis of creating Black Girl Rising?
Well, we used to be called Rise Sister Rise. And it was, the name is based on a research study that I conducted with the State Department of Mental Health. I wanted to look at trauma and resiliency in Black girls. I have been working with Black girls in school systems for maybe the past 20 years, mostly around girl aggression, girl fighting, girl bullying, that kind of thing. And so I wanted to really take a look at the lived experiences of Black girls. So we surveyed 411 Black girls in 4 cities, Columbus, Dayton, Akron, and Lima. We wanted 3 metro cities and then 1 small city that had a large Black population. So that study was called Rise, Sister Rise, Placing Black Girls at Promise. We changed our name because somebody took our name and then decided to own the name in 3 countries. So we hadn't done that.
Wow.
So about 2 years ago, we decided we had to change our name. But for the past 14 years, Sean, we had been using that name, and we had rights to that name here in Ohio. So we had to change our name. So a lot of people know our work by Rise, Sister Rise.
Rise, Sister Rise. Okay. That's interesting. You found that those statistics and information with aggression with young girls. Can you speak briefly to what the correlation was? Why these young ladies were fighting each other, bullying and aggression?
Well, first of all, not all our girls are, have that issue, but we do know that Black girls experience trauma every day. Whether they come from 2-parent, upper middle class Black families to, living with relatives or even being homeless or being in foster care. If you're Black and you're a female, you have issues. Just it's skin color. Are you light enough? Are you dark enough? Is your hair silky enough? Or if it's not silky, and how do I feel about all of that? And depending on the environment, literally might depend on how hostile that environment is.
Interesting. So let's
go on. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's talk about this love letter campaign.
Okay.
How did the idea of sending love letters to Black girls, how did that get started?
It actually started right after Ma'Khia Bryant's killing. I posted something on Facebook about how I was feeling about all of that, and then decided maybe I needed to do something else, because Black Girl Rising has a Black Girl think tank. And we had just met with our girls, and we were asking them how were they feeling about Ma'Khia, just about the protest, just about what life is like for Black people right now, but specifically about Ma'Khia's death. And our girls said the same thing I knew that other girls were feeling. Not safe, scared, wondering if it could happen to them, not trusting our community right now. And so on top of that, which is on top of all the extra responsibilities that Black girls are experiencing right now because of COVID, our girls are going through a lot. And they're, you know, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Right.
So, so after asking and then talking with some of the women who work with me in Black Girl Rising, I thought maybe we should figure out how to love our girls up, how to say, we see you, we know what you're going through, and you're not going through this alone. There are women, even though you may not even know us, there are women who love and care about you.
Mm-hmm.
And because we wanted something that would say to our girls, you are really important. It may not look like this world thinks that you are important, but you really are. So, so that's how the love letter campaign came up. So I it was really something. I didn't even know, Sean, that I knew 125 women, but I've been in this city long enough, probably, right?
Yeah.
So I invited 125 women to be on a Zoom call.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
got that information. I found out more than half attended, right?
oh yeah, 73 showed up.
Wow.
And so it was a time for us to talk about how we felt about all of this. It was a time to talk about what we might want to do. So I offered the idea of love letters
What was the response, and why do you think so many responded so swiftly?
because it was time for a call. Do you know what I mean? It was
Right.
really it was time for the power of Black women to be felt.
Yes. Yes.
It really was. And we're good at loving. We are really good at loving. So the love letter idea was easy for women to say, yeah, let's do it. And I believe in the power of radio. I always have. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a radio girl.
I grew up in South Jersey.
Shut up.
WDAS.
Yes, Georgie Woods.
Georgie Woods. Yes, yes, yes.
That's right.
I grew up right across the bridge in Camden.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So, so I know how powerful the radio can be.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted us to write love letters, but I wanted us to record love letters and have them aired on Black radio. Because I know that our young people, I know they do a lot of Instagram. I know they, you know what I'm saying? I know they do a lot of, but I know they listen to the radio.
Right, right.
And I'm thinking, you know, Black girl not feeling so great or needing to be uplifted or enriched, hearing a Black woman say, you're the bomb.com, you know?
Absolutely.
We love you. And there's a whole village of Black women who love you.
Absolutely.
I just thought that that would kind of lift our young sisters up.
That's amazing. You know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
Are you concerned about the mental health of Black girls?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I was saying, you know, our girls experience, you know, some days you wake up and you don't know whether anybody likes you because you're Black.
Mm.
And our girls they have issues of isolation. There's bullying, there's colorism issues, not knowing how to deal with conflict. Our girls are depressed. We don't talk about mental health in the Black community that much.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about mental illness, but not necessarily mental health.
Mm.
And so even with adult women, we get depressed, but we won't say we're depressed. We'll say we're just tired.
Right, right.
I need a bubble bath, or that kind of thing. So we wanted
I'm sure those bubble baths are necessary, though.
yeah, they are, Sean, but they shouldn't be part of your mental health. They should just be part of how you take care of yourself.
Right, right.
Um, but so just concerned about all of the things that our girls have been dealing with over time.
Mhm.
Our suicide rate for Black girls is up by 15%.
Mm.
That's too much.
That's an interesting statistic. Um, as a Black man, and I'm sure that there are other gentlemen out there listening to this program right now, what could we do to help, and what are your plans next as we conclude here?
Thank you. Truthfully, I think brothers need to love up their daughters, their nieces, their cousins, their sisters. I think that dads ought to be, if they don't know their daughters well, they need to get to know their daughters. And dads need to listen more so than give advice. Because our community, our culture is good at advice giving, but not always good at listening. So special times. Sean, I cannot tell you how many girls want really good relationships with the adult men in their lives, whether it's a grandfather, it's uncle, or even a brother. They don't get it. They don't get that kind of protection, closeness that they really are looking for. So this would be a great time for brothers to step out of their comfort zone and figure out how to love up on Black girls right now, the ones in their lives, because it's just so important. It really, really is. So what's next? One of the things we realized is that Micaiah and her peers and her sister, like many girls, do not know how to resolve conflict. They don't know how to de-escalate. They don't know how to breathe. So Micaiah I am sure that when she called the police asking for help, her blood pressure had gone up already, because we know this scientifically. Her blood pressure had gone up, her cortisol levels had gone up. And by the time the police got there and she had that knife in her hand, she was already at a fight or flight syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're there, you're not thinking clearly.
Right, right.
You are not. You are thinking survival only.
Mm-hmm.
So our girls need to have more skills. They need to know how to breathe. They need to know how to center themselves when they get into situations like that before they act out. So we're planning a series of workshops over the summer and the fall
Excellent.
to handle those kinds of issues.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
we don't want this to be well, we dealt with it in May, we want this to be a more sustained kind of effort for our girls.
Well, let's make sure that when you do those workshops, we get the communications set up so that we can get that on back on this program. I would love to
Excellent.
help promote that. Miss Fran, thank you so much for your time. Real quick, how can our listeners get more information on Black Girls Rising?
Excellent. Blackgirlrising.net.
Blackgirlrising.net. Simply
.net.
put, the founder of Black Girl Rising, Miss Fran Frasier, thank you again for joining us on Eye on the Community. Take care.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. East Coast brother. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.